Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Greetings to all that are seen, unseen, all those that are on the same journey towards justice, towards level of peace, towards a level of harmony, and the collective consciousness allowing us is indeed auspicious to say the least. So, we are now standing at, I believe, the apex of change. And the apex of change is an apex in which the impact that the events that unfold over the next few days to do with the uh, political standoff in the USA, the impact of that is likely to spread wide and far. And so we want to look today at not just what are the consequences or possible consequences, how to prepare, but also how to navigate ourselves. Again, the theme is the same. How to ensure that we are healthy within, how to ensure that we are able to navigate the changes that we are all now into. So I said that this is a, a conflict, a battle, a fight, whatever you want to call it, between power and justice. Power is always about control. Power is about controlling the others. And you can see how power has been exerted throughout the world, how power is being exerted now by a few upon many. This is what the ego gets off on. This is its little version, is power to control the other. Why does ego need this? Why does the amalgamation of corrupt politics with corrupt technology, corrupt press? So it's bringing a particular narrative that you can't challenge, you can't think beyond, everything has been censored around it. These important times, you have to recognize the change that is underway right now simply for your benefit. Is it your benefit? Because the paradigm change, which we're speaking about for the past 12 months, near enough, the paradigm change we are going through has moments which are relatively smooth, and then there are moments which can be quite eruptive, quite and my anticipation with all that I know and all those that guide me along this way is that the moment we are standing shift, and shift is divinely orchestrated. Shift is take place irrespective those things that stay at home. That power base is has limit, so it needs to exert much control as Paul in order to see if it can salvage the situation. And I can say from my own understanding and all the guidance that are provided to me and to be orchestrated, and the change is any question. Who's in charge? Who's in charge of either what I will call politicized scientists and politicians with varied interests to lead, to direct life, or you take control of your life. 6 governments have gone into resignation, gone into crisis modes. I know 4 have resigned over the past week. That's quite significant. Yeah, huge groups of individuals connected with various institutions are either just dying of COVID or dying of or committing suicide. Why? Because the game's up. The game's up. Why is it up? Because more and more people have started questioning the narrative. And this questioning is our awakening. this questioning is the great awakening. Awakening isn't about awakening to any political system. It's awakening to what you are, who you are. It is an awakening of what it means to be human. We as human beings, do you worship cattle, sheep? Is that what it means to be a human being? Or does it mean that to be a human being, that there is a level of in those days where we have to ask, okay, so how then navigate this? Well, there's lots happening. Let me give you some more context. The entire solar system, the entire cosmos that we are involved in, as you will know through anyone who's interested in astronomy and astrology, that there is a passing of age. There is a shifting from one energetic space to another. And this transition has taken place a few weeks back. Transition now is transition in which we are starting to experience the impact of that transition. That transition means that our bombarded with energies from space is being bombarded with all the fear language. It's been bombarded with everyone making one feel paranoid, afraid. All of these things are actually bombarding our nervous system. The vagus nerve, which is critical to our anatomy, is at the moment overstimulated. And as a result of this, it will lead to physiological changes in your body, which will then lead to disease. So, some practical hints that would really help you in this way. To remain grounded is important. It doesn't mean that we find our wave and we become the movement through where we are relative groundedness, then others can take some value to others. But if we are going through a shake up ourselves, our whole world, our world is, our internal environment is anxious or fearful or scared or angry, then this will come out. This will definitely come out. So, how do we navigate through this? Well, you know our answer: the meditation, the movement, and the silence. These are the three components that you cannot be without. It's no longer an option. It is now absolutely necessary. Moving into worldview, really shake our what we thought reality is, what we thought real is, what we thought wonderful leaders were all about, what we thought capitalism was about. There are many things that will shake our foundation. And in that, people, when the ego starts losing its anchors, whether it's government, whether it's a vaccination, whether it's financial system, whether it's religions, or whether it's community, the herd mentality, doesn't matter. Once it begins to lose those anchors, it feels like they're falling. And that falling, when the worldview crashes, an extremely distressing space for an individual. So in this moment, it is important to recognize that there are some things that we can do to help individuals. And I anticipate this is what is on the way over the coming weeks and months. But certainly the events of this week are the catalyst of it. And as this happens and as this takes place, as the restrictions go on and off, as people begin to express their disapproval, their anger, there's just more resentment, more concern, more insecurity. As this begins to become more and more dominant, it's important how we can move forward. And therefore, one thing that we can do for our vagus nerve is this: to create that internal environment. Is the first thing you wake up in the morning, splash some cold water over your face. If you're brave enough, have a cold shower, draw a very deep breath in through your mouth, Hold that breath, and then as softly as you can, allow the breath to escape from your mouth as slowly and as softly as you can. Imagine there's a tiny little feather there. That really helps, right? So first thing in the morning, before anything, before brushing your teeth, anything, cold water on your face. If you are not brave enough to go into a cold shower, deep breath in, hold, and then that's a really valuable intervention that will help the vagus nerve find a balance, and that helps the entire body. Obviously meditation, etc. are mentioned. Then the other thing is grounding, especially now when the air is and the ground is cold. It's, try this. um, um, Go out this morning, stand bare feet on the cold ground for a few minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and you will find that your feet go from kind of that distressy bit, painful bit, to a numb bit. It's really so it only takes about a couple of minutes before that shift happens, and then some people can stand there for a while, but really I would recommend a few minutes, 5 minutes if you want, and then pour some hot water over your feet. Pour some hot water over your feet, and you will find that that is quite a valuable way of taking some of this energetic charge that is all around us, allowing ourselves to earth ourselves, to remove the ionic charges, right? So it's really good. It alkalines the body, so it's good for the body anyway. So that's the second one. So one was the vagus nerve. Second one was going out there with bare feet. And the other is just take time out to sit in silence. You don't need to be thinking, you don't need to be, talking to anyone, watching anything. Take time out, take time out to sit by yourself. Take time out. So it's not about meditation. It's not about trying to get anywhere. It's not about following the breath. It is just sitting in the silence of oneself. These few interventions will help those who have already got some kind of a personal care plan. And these personal care plans are going to become extremely valuable as we begin to move forward and we begin to see the kind of fallout of what's been going on. In terms of being bullied, many people have been bullied to wear masks, and now people are being bullied to take a vaccination. I would suggest, please do your research. Do your research. Find out for yourself, and to me, putting a untested ingredients or several ingredients or many ingredients into a body, I think it just doesn't kind of resonate to be risk-free. So there seems to be a lot of risk associated with things that are untested generally. So exercise caution, do your research, but also remember you're a sovereign human being. You're a sovereign human being. And sovereignty means when you say no, you mean no. And when you say yes, you mean yes. And sovereignty is the exercise. Again, I go back to several months ago. We were talking about how humanity will come to a point where it has to make a decision. You, I, everyone. We have to make our own decisions. And some of these decisions are now compromising us. They're compromising with our work. They're our families. They're compromising. However, we have to listen to the heart. We have to listen to what feels right. What feels right. Remember that. You cannot trust what the media is telling us. We cannot trust other people's opinion, and everyone's got an opinion. And, yes, everyone, we all have our allocated number of breaths in life. And yes, if someone is going to die of an illness, they're going to die of an illness. If they're going to die of a vaccination, they're going to die of vaccination. It makes really, that's not the issue isn't about life and death. The issue is about risk. The issue is about risk. And therefore, please, I would say to you, sit with yourself, find your strength, and that strength will be you. It will express itself from you. You don't have to do anything. Your silence is your strength. Why is your silence your strength? Because your silence, that silence that we experience in our meditation, when we go into that space of calmness within ourselves, however you want to describe it, is the very essence of existence. It is divinity, it is sacredness, it is godliness, it is quantum field, it is consciousness, whatever you want to, whatever label you want to give it, because it is within you. And once we begin to acknowledge and recognize that, outside the beyond the confusion of the mind, by going through meditation, by understanding how the ego is going to operate, the fact that it's going to get a bit freaked out with what's going on, step back. And in that stepping back, when you sit in that silence, even for a moment, even for a moment, it is like igniting yourself. It's the ignition. It is you drop. Every time you sit there, it's the spark. And one day the spark becomes a tiny little flame. And then you sit there, and every day you sit there, you protect that flame. And then that flame over time becomes an inferno. We are now in that moment of inferno. So sit with that inner flame, sit with that inner space of your sacredness. Know there are some practical things that you can do. Some caution I would exercise. I think if my anticipation is correct, and some of the disclosure and exposure that may be coming through, particularly to do with crimes against humanity or children, I would advise discretion. Sometimes it's not worth knowing about certain things in detail, because it can impact our inner space. Darkness is darkness. Yeah. Exploitation of others is exploitation of others. I don't need to know how that exploitation takes place. So that's just a moment of caution, that as the dramas begin to unfold, much will happen. Avoid crowds if you can. Make sure you've got a little bit of food and water just for a few weeks. As the mayhem begins, you never know what the consequences of this may be. Better to be prepared. Cautious is better to be prepared and not need than need and not be prepared. And of course, now is the time to realize that you are indeed blessed beyond comprehension to be in this moment and participating tide that is for justice, peace, tranquility, harmony between humanity. And it's about inner contentment, outer compassion. And in that we find our dharma. In that we find our ethics. In that we find our sacredness. So I think I've ranted on enough today. So let's get on with our meditation. Thank you, everyone, for all the support you guys have been providing one another and ourselves. And we couldn't do this without all the encouragement. And thank you for sharing with us. That's been of value and benefit. And may it continue to do that. May it continue to do that. So, okay, when we're ready, again, our intention today is simply to be present with ourselves. Yeah, just to be present with ourselves. So if you just shake your back a little bit, loosen your shoulders. Normally, it's a good idea to hunch them, pull them up and then drop them. And you can hunch them again, slowly pull them up and drop them, push them back a bit. Close your eyes and close your mouth. And as you begin to breathe in, we become present to ourselves. And today, before we begin, we're going to smile at the fact that we are ourselves. We are going to relish a little bit of joy in being who we are. In this moment of now. Perfect in our imperfection. As we become aware of yourself, imagine there's a hula hoop above your head. And as it begins to come down, it begins to scan your body for sensations. Scanning your body all the way from the head, all the way down to the feet, right to your toes. Noticing anything dominant, maybe a little dominant sensation, a tightness or an itch or a pain. Notice that. And then again, notice that you can sense your whole body. And this body that you can sense, the physical body, perhaps you can sense just a little bit more beyond this physical body. And this physical body that you can sense is located in the moment of now. And this moment of now can only be where you are. The ground beneath you is the only ground that can support you today, right now. There's nowhere else you can be. The air in front of you is the only air you can breathe in and out. The sky above you, all the way up, can only be where you are. And the environment and the space that you're in, you can only be there. You can't be anywhere else. So locate yourself in that moment. Notice how this moment becomes the next. This moment connects you to all the moments that ever have been. And just as it connects you with all the moments that ever have been, this moment connects you with all the future moments that ever will be. As you breathe in, bring your focus now to where your body makes contact with what you're sitting on. And begin to notice the sensations where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting on. Notice the sensations within the body. As you breathe in, bring your focus up towards your hips. As you breathe out, bring your focus down to your thighs. And then from your knees, move your focus down towards your ankles. And then finally towards your feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Coming back to your chair or whatever you're sitting on, notice how well you held in place. So you can afford to allow the flesh on your body to soften a bit. As you breathe in, bring your focus up from the chair, whatever you're sitting on, up towards your lower back. Next breath in, up towards your middle back. Moving it up towards your shoulder blades. From your shoulders, move down to your elbows. From your elbows, move your focus towards your wrists. Notice the palms of your hands. Notice the fingers on your hands. Perhaps you can relax them a bit. Bringing your focus to your eyes. Notice that you can see darkness. Allow your eyes to soften, to relax. Bring your focus to your tongue. Allow it to soften. Notice the sensations on the roof of your mouth. Allow your face to soften. As you breathe in, becoming aware of your body as best as you can. Again, noticing anything dominant in it. Now let's notice how we are feeling. Having looked at the body and the sensations, we bring our focus to our chest. And we take a few moments to notice how are we feeling right now. And if you can't find a word, do you feel settled or unsettled? Do you feel calm, comfortable, peaceful? Does it feel pleasant or does it feel unpleasant, anxious, fearful? Notice how you feel right now. On your next breath out, open your awareness, begin to listen to the sounds of you. Becoming aware of the environment that you're in, open to the sounds around. underneath your nose. Begin to watch your breath. All you're doing is simply watching the in-breath moving in, out-breath moving out, allowing the breath to breathe by itself. When you find that your focus has drifted from your breath, notice where it goes, gently recognizing that you have the ability to hold your focus exactly where you want it. Notice how the breath breathes by itself. See if you can notice the difference between the in-breath coming in and the out-breath going out. The in-breath has a start and an end. The out-breath has a start and an end. Notice the 2 points of your breath. Notice where your in-breath begins and where your in-breath ends, where your out-breath begins and where it ends, as best as you can. Stay with your breath. Bring your focus now to your out-breath in particular. Follow it all the way till the end, allowing it to completely exhaust itself naturally. See if you can notice where this breath ends precisely. Following your out-breath all the way till the end. Allowing every out-breath to relax your body a bit further, moving you deeper and deeper into this moment of now, fully immersing yourself. Nothing to hold on to. The breath breathes by itself. The body functions by itself. In you, the silent observer, synth moving in, breath moving out. See if you can notice the tiny little gap at the end of your out-breath. Noticing the tiny little gap at the end of your breath, end of your out breath, before the in breath begins. Notice how you're breathing now. Notice if your breath feels light or does it feel heavy? Does it flow lightly or does it flow erratically? Does your breath feel long or does it feel short? Does your breath feel fast or does it feel slow? Does your breath feel cool or does it feel warm? And finally, does your breath have a sound? See if you can listen to the in breath as it comes in, out breath as best as you can. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out. On your next breath out, open your awareness and begin acting like a receiver. Listening. Now we're going to use the bell to allow ourselves to merge in the silence at the end. Simply follow the bell as best as you can. Allow the bell to take you to your very core. This silence is your strength. In this silence, we all become one. In this silence, we move beyond our thoughts, beyond our sensations, and simply become awareness, unchanging, witnessing, witnessing the sound of this bell. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose. Begin to notice your breath. Next breath out. Expand your awareness to include your body. Notice how still the body feels, harmonized, balanced, grounded. The mind feels calm and peaceful. And with just the intention to smile, the heart opens. Notice the sensation. You can sense your thighs all the way down to your feet, sensing your legs. Notice your back is straight and upright. Notice your shoulders are relaxed, comfortable, as are your arms and your hands. Notice that your eyes are still closed and you still have awareness of the darkness. Face is relaxed, coming back to your breath. And now, as you breathe in, you can sense something in the body. And as you breathe out, you with the body. See if you can notice that. Becoming present to the body with every breath. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in When you're ready, gently opening your eyes and coming back. Take your time. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Don't lose sight of that fact. Don't lose sight of the fact that you know the truth. And the truth will be known in your heart. And this feeling is going to grow. Every single day it's going to grow. And as it grows, you will realize that all that is happening exactly as it needs to happen. And you and I and everyone that's engaged are playing exactly what we need to play. So may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you be safe. Know that you're looked after, and we will meet again hopefully soon. Thank you for joining us from all parts of the world. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.